What's up, you guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ review, and I'm here with another movie ranking. Today, I'm going to rank the Terminator franchise. So, we got Terminator Dark Fate coming out in about 5 months, and I thought, hey, this is a good time to get my ranking out there, and then I'll put another ranking out when Dark Fate comes out. So, the Terminator franchise. Let's start with number 5. And number 5, I actually think most people would have this higher. But number 5 for me is Terminator Salvation. I just didn't find any redeeming qualities in this movie. I didn't. It didn't connect in any way really to Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Um, it wasn't really a movie about John Connor, although he was in it a lot. It wasn't really about him. It was more about Sam Worthington's character. And here's the problem. When you got a movie about Sam Worthington's character, you gotta like that character, and I didn't like this character. I did not find anything redeeming about this character. This was an uninteresting character to me. Yeah, he was part cyborg, but I just didn't find him interesting at all. Um, had a good cast. You know, Bryce Dallas Howard was in it, Christian Bale was in it, Sam Worthington was in it. Um, it just it didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me at all. I thought that some of the action sequences felt a little bit too much like Transformers. I felt that some of the plot was just kind of dumb. Like, the humans did things that I don't think that anybody with any kind of military intelligence would do. It just didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. The ending was cool when they brought out the Arnold Schwarzenegger T-800. He was only the Arnold Schwarzenegger T-800 for a minute because he conveniently got blasted with like a plasma cannon or something. And then you've got Christian Bale defeating a T-800, in my opinion, way too easy. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. It just felt like, I don't know, it felt like, I think McGee was the director of this, right? And it felt like he wanted to make a movie about the war, but he wanted to get that wide appeal where, hey, guess what? Kids can come watch this too. So it wasn't a war movie. War movies are adult movies. And this just felt like Transformers set in a futuristic world that kind of felt a little bit like Terminator. That's what it felt like to me. So number 5 is Terminator Salvation. I didn't care for it. Number 4 is Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Another one, you know what? I give them this. It had a ballsy ending. I didn't think they'd go there, and they did. So kudos to them on that. And the whole movie was about Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800, making sure that Catherine Brewster and John Connor get to safety. All that was good. I didn't care much for the TX. The T-1000 was supposed to be the most advanced prototype. Remember when in Terminator 2, when the T-800 said that the T-1000 is an advanced prototype? That means that there's only he's one of a kind, and he's more advanced than anything else. I did not buy the fact that all of a sudden, guess what? We got a third Terminator that's even more advanced than the T-1000. I didn't buy that. I didn't buy that, and it just, remember, no weapons are supposed to come through. She has an arsenal. Granted, it's part of her endoskeleton, but it just felt, if they had the TX, why didn't they send the TX back to kill Sarah Connor in 1984? It just, lapses in logic didn't work for me. So number 4 is Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Number 3 was Terminator Genisys. Now, this is a movie that I think most would probably have at number 5. I liked what they were trying to do here. Granted, they fumbled it. They fumbled it a lot. But I like what they were trying to do. They were trying to go back to the Future 2 style, to the things we've seen before, and show us that there was more to be had there. There was more going on there. Somebody was messing around with the time stream. We never found out in the movie who was messing around with the time stream, which was a huge weakness of this movie. You know, I hate it when movies, like, they come out and then they save a whole bunch for the sequel. There's no guarantee you're going to get a sequel. Give us your best movie now, and then worry about a sequel later. And this one was clearly setting stuff up for a sequel that never happened because it wasn't a very good movie. But in my opinion, there was more to like here than in Terminator Salvation and Terminator Rise of the Machines. The action sequences were fun. I like the idea of having a aged up Terminator. You know, the logic makes sense to me that, you know, it's living tissue, so it's going to continue to get older. All that logic made sense to me. The end, I don't know. Great action sequences around a terrible story is what we got. So I don't know. I just feel like the action sequences actually set it apart from T3 and Terminator Salvation. Still not a very good movie. There's still only two good Terminator movies. So let's talk about one of them. At number 2, we have the first Terminator. This is a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece of filmmaking. This was Terminator being a horror movie. This is the only horror Terminator that we got, was the first one. It was gritty. It felt, I don't know if dirty is the right way to say it. It felt filthy, like just grimy, dirty. It felt real. It felt real. The Terminator was scary, and the fact that this is the only one where we had a human come back in time to protect somebody, that raised the stakes. And I mean, you can't raise the stakes because it was the first movie, but the stakes were high because you had a Terminator and then you had a human. So I love the first one. I love the first one. The shootout in the police station is great. The you know, the semi chase scene was great. That set the stage for many other semi or big truck chase scenes in the future of the franchise. But the semi chase scene was great. The finale in Cyberdyne was great. This was good movie. There's no getting around it. Even the futuristic scenes, the few futuristic scenes that they had in this movie that James Cameron filmed in 1984, probably 1983 when he was filming it, superior to anything in Terminator Salvation. This is a good movie. Good movie. A masterpiece of the genre. But not quite as good as the number 1 Terminator movie, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Oh my gosh. This movie came out when I was 12 years old. My parents took me out to see it, and my jaw just hit the floor. I was like, this is as good as it's going to get as far as movies are concerned. That's how I felt at the time. Now, thankfully, we've had better movies come out since. A lot of better movies come out since. But man, this is great. Terminator 2 is great. Terminator 2 is one of my top 25 movies of all time. Easy. It's easily in there. Again, James Cameron was big on set pieces. You had the battle at the hospital. You had the battle in the factory at the end. Just these exciting set pieces. The battle at the mall that turned into the semi chase, which was superior to the semi chase in part 1. Just everything about this movie just oozed fantasticness. CGI was still this relatively new thing at the time, and James Cameron just changed what we do with CGI. Integrating CGI, the CGI T1000, with real actors. It changed movie making. Terminator 2 changed movie making. And we're forever fortunate that we got that movie, because this is a fantastic movie. And yeah, Terminator 2 it's great. It's great. And who'd have thought that they could turn this villain from the first Terminator, this horrific villain. Arnold Schwarzenegger was scary in the first Terminator. Who'd have thought that James Cameron could turn him in the next movie? I know it's a different Terminator, but it's still the same character. Turn him into the sympathetic character that we're rooting for and we cheer for and we cry for. Every time I watch Terminator 2 at the end scene when he says, "I cannot self-terminate," and then she shakes his hand and she's nodding, saying, "Yeah, I'll do this for you." And then she kills him by fumbling around and pushing the button, just like she did in the first one. Everything was just so poetic at the end. Who'd have thought? That's a horrible word to use for a science fiction action movie, but everything at the end was poetic. It was such a strong ending. Such a strong ending. The future rolls toward me. For the first time, I face it with a sense of hope because of a machine, a Terminator, can learn the value of human life. Maybe we can too. I remember watching that scene later on during a rewatch when I was older, before Terminator 3 came out. I remember watching that scene thinking, they'll never make another Terminator. That was the perfect way to end it, with that dark highway at night. That was the perfect way to do it. And then they make 3 bad movies after that. Man, I'm holding out hope for Dark Fate. Holding out hope for it. This is a direct sequel to Terminator 2, ignoring the other 3 movies, which is a wise decision because the other 3 movies weren't good. I have hope that Dark Fate is the first true sequel to Terminator 2 and the one that we can really rally behind and say, yeah, this is a good movie. This is a good continuation. So anyways, what are your thoughts? How would you rank the Terminator movies? Do you have part 1 as number 1? Do you have part 2 as number 1? Are you one of those weirdos that has one of the other ones at number 1? I doubt that. But let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for being here at the LQ Review, where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.